This is the Louis T. Network.
In the Lab Room.
Welcome, you are in the Lab Room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. It's Thursday. You know what that means. Thursday night football here in the Lab Room. New Orleans Saints traveling to Atlanta to take on their divisional rivals in the Falcons. 8-2 versus the inverse, 2-8. Yeah, this is a typical trap game if you are the New Orleans Saints. Don't start looking forward to the Carolina Panthers tilts that are coming up here in the next couple of weeks. You need to focus at the task at hand. Sure, this is a 2-8 Atlanta Falcons team that isn't very good, that has been trampled over by the likes of the Arizona Cardinals and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but you don't need to concern yourself with that. What you need to remember is that this is a divisional foe that knows you all too well, knows you in and out, and is going to play hard at home because it's a primetime game and because they just don't like you and don't want to see you succeed. And heck, they just want to get a win themselves as well. So you have to come out, establish your dominance early. This shouldn't be a close game. Doesn't have to be. You don't have to allow this to be. If you do what everyone else has done to the Atlanta Falcons, which is come out and dominate them early, much like Seattle did, much like Tampa Bay did, this will get out of control quickly. You can put these guys to bed early and have time to go out and have fun. But if you want to sit around and play around and they don't take their bath until 9:30 and they didn't even finish their homework yet, and you got to stay up and you got to make sure that all these things get done, you don't have any time to play later on. But if you put them to bed early, tuck them away, night, turn out the light at 8 o'clock, you've got the rest of the night to party. So if you're the New Orleans Saints, hey, take care of business right away. Do the dirty work early, okay? Do your work early. That's what you do. You put these guys in their place right away in this game. Come out, get the football, score points. Stop them, get the football back, score more points. Exert your will and dominance over this team early in this game and often, and let them know that they don't stand a chance in this game. If you're able to do that, you should be able to cruise to an easy victory against these Atlanta Falcons. Nothing comes easy in the National Football League. You got to go out and take it. And these Falcons aren't going to lay down. And again, I just stated, this is Thursday night football. This is a big stage. They're at home. They've been embarrassed this year. And so they're going to step up in this game and try to make it a football game so that they don't look like fools on national television. But if you go out and do what you're supposed to do, this game should not be close. This is what you call the ultimate trap game. Every week has trap games in it. It's your job not to get caught in it because this Falcons team hopes you're overlooking them, is expecting you to be overlooking them. They know that they're 2-8. They know that they're not having the season that they would have liked to this point. They know that they're not a good team. And they know that you think that this is going to be a cakewalk and that you're going to come in, blow them over, and they're going to fall down and you're going to trample all over them. But if you don't come in with the mindset that you're the better team and you play down to their level, this could be a long, and I mean a long night. Don't expect it to happen. I expect Sean Payton and Drew Brees to have these troops ready to go to take these Falcons out behind the woodshed and tear them a new one. Saints in this one big for me. Don't expect this to be a close game. I expect the Saints to win this one by double digits. It's my sole survivor pick of the week. I do not expect the Atlanta Falcons to put up much resistance in this game. Maybe it's close for a quarter, maybe even for a half. But at some point in this game, the Falcons will realize, what are we doing? We're the Atlanta Falcons. We're not good. We're not supposed to be in this football game. And the Saints will take off and run away with this game and hide like they're supposed to. Maybe it happens from the opening kickoff. Who's to say? But at some point, the Saints will distance themselves from the Falcons in this game. Give me the New Orleans Saints to take care of business on the road within the division and get the win. I'm not giving you a score. It's not necessary. Saints win big. Know that. So that leads us straight to... let's tackle this quick. Extra point. And for my extra point today, let's talk about promises. What's going with all these people promising and guaranteeing stuff? You shouldn't do that. It's not a good idea. I was always told, never make a promise that you can't keep. Now, I'm not saying that these people aren't going to keep their promise, but things happen, things can change, and there's a lot of time in between now and the promises that they make. Let's talk about these promises for a second. Reginald Bush fumbled against the Pittsburgh Steelers, was subsequently benched afterwards, and his coach made the statement that he wasn't a mutter, meaning he doesn't play in muddy and muggy and nasty and muddy conditions like it was in Pittsburgh on Sunday. So he sat him down. Reggie said, hey, I respectfully disagree with my head coach. I'm a mutter. I can play in those kind of conditions. Sure, I fell down a whole bunch of times in that game and I fumbled, but I can play in those conditions. I'm not soft. Tell you what, take this to the bank. I'm writing a check right now that I know Mike can cash. I'm not going to fumble the football for the rest of the season. Whoa, that's a pretty lofty statement coming from a guy that normally fumbles about once every 3 or 4 games. I wouldn't do that if I were you, Reginald, because guess what's going to happen when you do fumble in week number 14? Everybody's going to rewind the tape of when you said, hey, I'm not going to fumble anymore this season. So I wouldn't make that kind of guarantee. I wouldn't make that promise if I were you, Reginald, especially knowing your track record and the way you put the ball on the floor. Wouldn't do that. However, I get what you're trying to do. I get where you're going. I respect you for what you're doing. Just wouldn't think that that would be a good decision and a good idea anyway. But it's done. It's been said. Now you got to go out and back it up. Another promise. Good old Jerry Jones. Good old Jerry. What would we do in this league without good old Jerry running his trap? For no other reason than because he can. Jerry comes out and says, my coach, Jason Garrett, will be around next year, 2014. He'll be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. That's great, Jerry. But don't you think you could have waited until the end of 2013 to tell us that? What if Jason Garrett and this Dallas Cowboys football team takes a nosedive after this bye week? You don't win another game, and you're blown out in 3 of the final 6 games by 30 points or more. What will you do then? Will good old Jason Garrett still be your coach then, buddy? Who knows? But you've already come out and said he'll be the coach of the Cowboys in 2014. So now you have no choice but to back that up. Now you can go back on your word. You've done it many a times, I'm pretty sure, in your life. However, don't you want to be a man of your word? You said he was going to be your coach in 2014. I expect you to stand by that. But again, it's the National Football League, and we know things change from week to week in this league. And so that's why Jerry should have kept his trap shut. But as we all know, good old Jerry doesn't know how to do that anyhow. So that's going to do it for me here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me on this program. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy the Thursday night football. I know I will. I'll break it down tomorrow. And I'll be back on Friday as well with the Pick'em Weekly for week number 12. And don't forget, Washington Redskins exclusive, the Redskins Report, open forum, Friday night, 9 p.m. sharp. I'm going to air it all out about my Washington Redskins. See you there. Enjoy the football. I'll be back tomorrow. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.
In the lab room.